Incredible. It is now 7 o'clock. We are so excited to kick off the Run for Something award show. This is gonna be so much fun. We're gonna give people maybe another 30 seconds to join as attendees jump in. As you join, make sure to introduce yourself in the chat. We're looking to know who you are, where are you? Change your settings to all panelists and attendees so that everybody can see. We are really excited to have tonight be just a really joyous celebration of our amazing candidates, our amazing volunteers, and the community that we're building together that genuinely gives a shit about changing the world from the bottom up. So again, as folks are joining, make sure to introduce yourself in the chat, change your settings to all panelists and attendees so that everybody can see. And we're gonna get started in 10 seconds, 15 seconds. This is gonna be fun. This is low key. So do not stress if you have to jump in and jump out. For those of us watching live on Facebook, we are excited to have you there as well. For those for whom this is your first time at a Run for Something event, my name is Amanda Littman. I am one of the co-founders and the executive director of Run for Something. I'm coming to you live from Brooklyn, New York, where I haven't left my apartment in many months. And I'm really excited because tonight we're gonna have a really fun celebration of the community that we are building together. To kick us off for this award show, I want to toss it over to Ilana Glazer, who you might know from Broad City or her amazing comedy work or the Generator Collective. She's an icon, and I am really excited to have her here to kick off tonight's celebration. Ilana?
Hi, Amanda. Thank you so much. I am so honored to be a part of tonight's Run for Something Awards. This past 3.5 years has posed a lot that we didn't realize as a nation we could face. It has been sad and angering and challenging, but it's also created such a lively breeding ground. I'm gonna look right there, a lively breeding ground for real change. The hope and strength that has risen out of our nation in this past 3.5 years in the sphere of activism and politics at every level has been inspiring, and I think showing our country that we are ready to be the change, ready to be the nation we've always claimed to be. And Run for Something has been such a huge part of that change, a huge part of that positive upward movement. I am an enormous fan of Run for Something. It is one of the best organizations doing the work to build sustainable power for Democrats up and down the ballot, down the ticket. I am so grateful, Amanda, to you and co-founder Amanda Littman and the whole Run for Something team for the work that they do. It is optimism arriving in my inbox weekly. And it's not just like, we want to feel good and pat ourselves. It's not just for optimism's sake. It's not just for happiness. It's to really reflect on the real work that they're doing. They are creating the space for young, passionate people to get into these important positions in politics. It's true and real reason to feel good and hopeful and optimistic about our country. It's true. You know, we get so inundated with toxicity, but it's like, Run for Something, that email in my inbox is the antidote. It is the medicine to, it is the medicine. Local politics is so important because it is where real people who are still 3D, who still feel accessible and graspable and authentic, enter the political sphere and most reflect their constituents. Looking up the candidates being honored tonight, oh my God, I was told I could say anything, so I just want to say, oh my God, they are so fucking cool. They are such a diverse display of Americans. They represent real fucking America. The candidates tonight that you're gonna meet who are being honored, they look like me and my friends. They look like the artists I follow on Instagram. They are pluralistic and multifaceted, and they are powerful. Woo! Powerful. The winners that you're going to meet tonight are the rising stars of the Democratic Party. And the Run for Something award show is a celebration in honor of some of the organization's fantastic alumni who are working hard to build lasting progressive power for their communities. And coming up next is a live drink demo with Republic Restoratives, a small batch woman-owned distillery and cocktail bar based in DC. So I really think this is going to be the perfect kickoff for a night of badass, powerful people. It's just going to be the perfect vibe. So hope you enjoy, and thanks for having me again.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Ilana, and thank you so much to Run for Something for having us be a part of your awards tonight. As Lana mentioned, we are a small women-owned distillery based in Washington, D.C. If you want to learn more about us after the awards, please visit republicrestoratives.com, and we can get you more information about all the amazing work that we're doing here. I understand that later tonight, we are going to all have the pleasure of seeing an appearance by Secretary Clinton. So wanted to give a shout out and a cheers to her on her incredible service to the country, and a toast to her with our Rodham Rye, which was of course named after her in a time when we thought that we would have our first woman president. And I think that probably everyone tuning in here tonight can agree that we'd be in a much different place right now as a country were she the president. But thank you so much to Run for Something for everything that you're doing to put awesome progressive candidates into office, to Amanda for your leadership over there, for Marcia for your help for putting this together, and just to everything who cares about these causes. It's so important to us. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Brad, our awesome bartender, for tonight's event. Thanks, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Very, very happy to be here tonight. You know, we're gonna make some really tasty drinks. So this one's called the Tomato and Tonic, or the TNT. Basically kind of like a nice, summery, lighter variation of a Bloody Mary using local produce. You know, tomatoes are kind of in the height of the season right now. This cocktail is super good. Pretty happy with the way it turned out. You know, people have been saying it's pretty tasty. So let's get started here. We're gonna add some cherry tomatoes. 3 or 4 of those guys just right into your shaker here. Some fresh basil. Tear a couple of leaves up, put those right in here. You're gonna add everything right into your shaker. Grab 3/4 ounces of lemon juice. Add that in. About a 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. Add that in. And we're gonna finish up with some Civic vodka here. This is made at Republic Restoratives here in Washington, D.C. Get about 2 ounces of this in there. Great. All right, so we're gonna muddle all of our ingredients up in there. Grab your muddler. What you wanna do is kind of like burst those tomatoes that are in there. Don't go crazy with it. You don't wanna bruise the basil that's in there. Just want to release all those oils in the tomato and some of that juice as well. All right, so that's good. Grab your glass. It's got some celery salt on the side there. Add some ice. And you're going to add ice to your shaker next. And we're going to shake about 15-20 seconds. You get everything out of there. Great. All right, next we're going to strain that over ice in our glass. Right on top there. All right, get everything out. Great. We're going to top it with a little bit of tonic water next. Right over the top. Perfect. And lastly, just a quick little garnish of some fresh basil. And that's the TNT there. It's our fresh tomato and tonic.
So we are going to go ahead and turn it over to Amanda, but Brad is going to be back later for a refresh of the drink or for folks who are tuning in. So if you have any questions about the drink or about at-home bartending, if you want to put them in the chat, we'll watch it throughout the rest of the event and we'll try to get to it during the break later. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Ilana, for that incredible introduction. And thank you, Republic Restoratives and Brad, for making what looks to be genuinely delicious. We're gonna do a quick music break for just a minute or two, and then continue going into the show. I'm really excited about tonight. I want to say thank you first to Ilana for that incredible introduction. I am so glad when people say they like our emails, that makes me and our team really happy. And thank you to Republic Restoratives and Brad for being here tonight and for making drinks and guiding us on making drinks. We really do appreciate that as well. Here is a quick agenda for this evening. I love meetings with agendas. I love award shows with agendas. We're going to go through our award winners. You're going to get to hear from each one, from our presenters. You're going to get to hear stories from what they've got going on, what they're looking forward to for the future. Please, please, please do participate in the chat. Ask any questions. If you're watching this live on Facebook, please do participate in the comments. We know that we can't be together in person. You know, usually every year, right around, often a little earlier in the spring, we do an event we call Party for Something. You know, the first year it ended with my co-founder and I playing cornhole or bags with Senators Gillibrand and Booker after they and Senator Warren spoke. Last year, we were blown away by Stacey Abrams and Representative Ayanna Pressley. And this year, we had a really amazing lineup planned for you. And then coronavirus came. So while we can't have that event, the goal of this evening is try and recreate that experience of celebrating the work that we're doing together. So whether you're on this Zoom call or you're watching online, you are a part of what makes this organization possible. For those of you who are new to us, I want to tell you a little bit more about our backstory and what we're focusing on this year before I show you a quick note from our first awards presenter. Run for Something was born of the ashes of the 2016 campaign, like most resistance-y type things. We started on Inauguration Day thinking this organization would be small. We thought maybe 100 people would want to run for office. Instead, as of today, nearly 58,000 young people all across the country have raised their hands to tell us, I want to run for local office. What do I do now? And my favorite part of that number is that nearly 15,000 of them signed up in 2020 alone. And most of those folks came in the last 3 months. What that tells me, and it confirms what we always knew, is that this movement, this team, is not about Trump. It is not a reaction to Trump. It is not inspired by Trump. Yeah, he's lowered the bar for what an elected official can be, but the people who are signing up to run for local office now are doing it because, like the winners of our awards this evening, they care about solving problems. They care about making their communities better. They care about being public servants. They are running to do something, not just to be something. And that, to me, is what makes this all worth it, is that we as an organization and you as supporters, as volunteers, as donors, as people who lurk on our accounts on social, you are all part of helping these folks become, go from citizen to candidate to elected official or to next time candidate to public servant. And we have seen why it matters that we elect really good people locally. We have seen, as you'll see from Representative Brianna Titon, her incredible work making Colorado one of the 11th states to end what we would call the gay panic defense. We have seen what School Board Director Tay Anderson has done getting police officers out of Denver schools. We have seen what Representative Eskamani has done in Florida, fighting for unemployment insurance for every single one of her constituents at all hours of the night. We have seen how Judge Lina Hidalgo in Texas has basically been the only elected official in Texas, or one of the few, who has cared about saving people's lives. I always think about that in contrast to the Texas Lieutenant Governor, who, remember early on this spring, said he would sacrifice our seniors for the economy. Lina Judge Hidalgo, is doing the opposite. She is willing to save people's lives to then save the economy. And I am so, so excited for her, for Representative Joseph, and for the rest of our award winners tonight, for you to get to meet them, hear their stories, and to celebrate them with us. I just want to flag a few things that we are focusing on right now as Run for Something in our team. One, we are endorsing more candidates for 2020. Coming in hot next week, get excited, another endorsement class, more than 100 incredible young elected officials or people striving to be young elected officials all across the country are one of our more diverse classes yet, really looking like, as Ilana said, the present and future leaders of our country. We are helping folks navigate this new environment of campaigning. Every Wednesday night, just last night, we did our fourth one of the series. We're trying to help people figure out how do you campaign in a pandemic. We launched resourcesforcampaigns.com earlier this spring to help people figure this out. I highly recommend you take a look. There are guides on how to do virtual campaigns, how to run town halls, how to do this, even though nobody really knows how to do this, We've got a crowdsourced guide of different examples of how people are trying different things. You're going to hear from one of our award winners later about how she's helped push her campaign into the new virtual space. It has been remarkable to see. We've also been electing people. As you guys know, there have been elections what feels like every week or every 2 weeks. As someone working on local politics or as a team working on this, we're used to that. It does take a while. We still don't have results from New York, and took a while for Pennsylvania, took a while for Nevada. That's okay. For us, we're really excited to get to be working with these people who are running, and a huge number of them are winning, which makes our team even busier, which makes your support even more important. We are really looking ahead this fall to a bunch of top tier states, both for redistricting and as battlegrounds. We're looking at Texas and Florida and Georgia and Minnesota and Ohio and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and North Carolina and Arizona and Michigan and New Hampshire and New York, and also Kentucky, Virginia, Washington, Iowa, Missouri, Montana, Oklahoma, Nevada, Massachusetts, Kansas, Maine, as our sort of top rung places, but that doesn't mean we're not also everywhere else. That's one of my favorite things about the work we're doing is we are really everywhere. Wherever you are in the country, there is a Run for Something candidate in your community. I just see in the chat Chelsea going to Lincoln saying they're from Boise, Idaho, helping get Chelsea elected to the Idaho State House of Representatives. There is value in helping Democrats all across the country run and win. And we know that the more candidates we run, the more people we have talking to voters, the more likely we are to help Democrats at the very top of the ticket succeed. And it is incredibly important that Joe Biden win the White House, but it's also incredibly important that we compete the whole field, that we try and win it all. It is not enough to win the White House. We have to win sustainable power. I don't need to preach that to you. You know this is how this works. You're a part of this community. You understand why it matters not just to win the White House or even the Senate or hold the House. You understand why it matters to win school boards and why it matters to win state legislatures and why it matters to win city councils. Because these are the offices that, as you're going to hear from our award winners tonight, are really moving the needle and making people's lives better. And if we don't elect Democrats, making people's lives meaningfully worse. So I'm excited about what our team is doing. I'm excited about the work we're all doing together. I'm excited about our candidates tonight. I want to say before I show you a quick video from our first award presentation to thank our sponsors. We are so, so grateful to Act Blue and AFSCME, Authentic Campaigns, Fireside Campaigns, Claire and Stephen Crouppen, Planned Parenthood Action Fund, Precision Strategies, and Yelp. It would not be possible for us to do these events both tonight and all summer long without their help. And I would be remiss if I didn't do my job and ask you to contribute as well. Tonight's award show is free, as is much of our programming this summer, because we know things are tough for folks. That being said, if you're able to contribute whatever you can, runforsomething.net/build is your place to go. $5, $10, $15, make it recurring. Whatever you can do means the world to us. I will still be here all night long helping facilitate between our presenters and our award winners. I know folks from our team are here in the chat to answer any and all questions you might have about what we're up to. I'm really excited. I can't say that enough. I feel like I've said it 100 times tonight, but I can't say it enough. It is such a joy to get to hear from our candidates. I will tell you, I wake up basically every morning fucking furious at Congress, just enraged And then I get to do my job, which involves working with the people you're going to meet tonight. And it is the only thing that makes me feel better. The only thing. Because I believe that the people we are working with are making the world a better place, have changed their careers, and are changing the country because it matters. So I hope you walk away tonight feeling as hopeful as I do. Our first award presenter tonight is someone you may be familiar with. Secretary Hillary Clinton is unable to join us live, but sent us a beautiful video that I am so excited to show you this evening, and she will in that be presenting our first award. So let's see if I can share this. Let's do it.
Hello, everyone. I'm thrilled to add my voice to the chorus of people celebrating a wonderful organization that is truly changing the face of politics in our country. Between the pandemic and the long overdue reckoning with racism in America, this is certainly an unprecedented moment. Every day we're reminded how important it is to have strong leadership at the local level, a principle that Run for Something has understood from the very beginning of the organization. Local elected officials don't always make national headlines, but they are fighting for public health and more testing for COVID-19, paving the roads, supporting public schools, protecting reproductive rights, ensuring clean drinking water and safe electricity. And they're taking steps to confront systemic racism. In just 3.5 years, Run for Something has supported 1,334 candidates and counting. 54% of the candidates you helped elect are women, 47% are people of color, 20% are LGBTQ, and Run for Something candidates have flipped state legislative seats in 20 states. That's exactly the kind of momentum we need heading into next November. Tonight, you'll hear from members of the Run for Something family who are on the front lines of our democracy. For example, Florida Representative Anna Eskamani is taking to social media to help her constituents navigate the state's incredibly difficult unemployment system. Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo is one of Texas's most vocal advocates for public health and safety. Tay Anderson is working with his fellow members of the Denver School Board to fight for equity and justice in education. And Run for Something volunteer Chelsea Mason is helping to ensure that the more than 58,000 young people who have raised their hands to say that they're interested in running one day have the support they need to do just that. And State Representative Brianna Titon, the recipient of tonight's I Am History Award, is standing up for facts and science in the Colorado legislature. Representative Titone is a geologist by profession, and in 2018, she made history as the first out trans woman elected in Colorado. She has been a leader on the environment and all of the issues related to it. And her bill to ban the so-called trans panic defense was just signed into law. And I know she is just getting started. So with that, I am proud to introduce Representative Brianna Titon. Congratulations, Brianna.
Well, that was a very nice intro. I'm so honored to have that intro from Secretary Clinton. Thank you so much for Run for Something. You do such a great job getting people out to run, out to vote, and really having the young voices being heard, which are so important right now. And I'm honored to have this award. I have the award here. It's a beautiful award, and I'm so happy to have it displayed in my office at the Capitol, and we'll be bringing that back in January when I get reelected, and I am going to be reelected again this year. I had one of the most difficult races in Colorado. I won by 439 votes out of about 50,000 votes. We had about 75% turnout in the district. And that's pretty exceptional. But we have, guess what? Mail-in ballots. And mail-in ballots work. And this is really a testament to that. We're expecting 80% turnout in this election. So mail-in ballots, advocate for them everywhere you live. It is so important that you get your voices heard and you get to say, because on election night, I was actually losing, but because everyone dropped their ballots off on the last day, they weren't counted until Thursday when I finally won. But people said it was impossible for me to win. They said, you know, there's no way a Democrat is going to win that district because it was very conservative since it was drawn. It was drawn to be a Republican district. And there were lots of things that happened, demographic changes, changes in the politics. Who is running and what are they doing? What are they bringing to the table? And there are so many different skills and experiences that we all bring to the table, the history of service that we have that really resonates with the people in our districts. And when we run for office, we win because we're delivering what the representative government that we expect to have to the people. And they respond to that and they cast their vote for the things that they really want to see. So I encourage everybody who wants to run to really, you know, whether the odds are stacked against you or not, make sure that you put your all into it, show off all your best qualities, talk to as many people as you can. I was out knocking doors before I came here. I knocked about 50 doors today, so I've got a lot more doors to knock, but that's important, those conversations, and doing it safely with COVID-19. It's a challenge. But this is an honor for me to be here today and to accept this award. And I would like to thank everybody who voted for me, because this was not just a gimme award. People had to vote for me, and I'm just very grateful to have this honor. So thank you, Amanda, and the Run for Something crew who are doing so much behind the scenes. We really appreciate everything that you do for us.
Thank you, Representative, and thank you for, one, the incredible screen background, and two, for everything you're doing in Colorado. It is really remarkable to see what you have done, elected to the chamber, having flipped that seat. You're absolutely right. I hope every single candidate or potential candidate right now is thinking about how are you helping people vote by mail. I'm also thrilled to see someone in the chat saying, that's it, I'm running for office, which is the whole point of this. This is what Run for Something does. We find people who are running to run, who win, who can then inspire more people to run and win. It is one of my favorite parts of this project. It's that it like compounds on itself. It is a snowball rolling down a mountain, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. As more people who are breaking ground and who have become the first, who make history like Brianna did, will not be the last. And that's the idea. Someone who does this and changes the course of history in their community could then change the course of history in another community down the road or across the country. I am so excited to introduce our next presenter for our tonight's Run for Something Awards. You may know him as the former Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. You may know him as one of your favorite presidential candidates. You may know him as one of your favorite Texans. I don't know. You may know him as your favorite twin. We are so excited to have you here tonight, Secretary Julián Castro, to introduce and present our next award. Take it away.
All right. First of all, good evening, Amanda. I hope you can hear me. Great. Let me just begin by saying a huge congratulations to you and to the entire Run for Something crew for the tremendous organization that y'all have built up in such a short time. as somebody who has been watching the progress of the organization and the difference that y'all have made all across the country in helping to usher in this new generation of exciting and thoughtful and passionate and courageous young progressives. You have truly been an asset to this country, and the organization is doing such fantastic things. It's a pleasure to be here. I also want to just give a shout out and congratulate all of the folks who are being honored tonight for their great work, not only for their campaigns, which of course Run for Something has been a part of, but most importantly for their work in office and making a difference in the lives of people who need it. And in that vein, I'm happy tonight to be here to present the Meeting the Moment Award to someone who exemplifies the best of our country and the best of progressivism. Someone who was elected in 2018 at just the age of 27 years old, who as a Democrat has more constituents in our great state of Texas, where I am tonight, than any other Democrat in the state. She is the county judge of Harris County, which includes about 4 million people. During this pandemic, she has been a steadfast voice for meeting the needs of her constituents in Harris County. At the same time, the Texas leadership has taken a backward, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil approach, and has chosen right-wing ideology and politics over science and the public health. Our Meeting the Moment honoree tonight, County Judge Lina Ivalgo, has chosen common sense and investing in people. She has called for stronger testing, stronger contact tracing, the ability of Harris County and Houston to be able to tailor safety precautions like requiring people to wear a mask that are in the interest of public health. She has garnered the respect of people far and wide on both sides of the aisle for her can-do attitude and her willingness to work with people from every corner of the political spectrum to get things done for the people that she represents. She is someone that so many folks, not only here in Texas, but across the country, are proud of. She's championing progressive values here in what is now red Texas, but soon to be blue Texas, starting in 2020, in no small measure because of the leadership of people like our Meeting the Moment honoree tonight, Harris County Judge Lina Ivalgo.
Thank you so much, Secretary Castro. I'm so honored. And I've got the Meeting the Moment Award, which if we're talking about meeting the moment, I am so, so grateful for the work you are doing. And we all owe a debt of gratitude to your leadership at a time when working families are under attack, when Latinos are under attack, and the issues you bring to the forefront, the way you do it and the way you did during the campaign, but really all along, your presence in public life is such an important shining light for all of us. So I'm incredibly honored that you're presenting this to me and grateful for your leadership. And I want to just say thank you to everybody who is supporting Run for Something, everybody who's here watching, of course, Run for Something, all of the incredible leaders there who've been just so fantastic, because you guys are standing with young people, with young leaders and up and coming leaders when no one else will. And I can say that because that was the case for me. You know, when I was 26 years old and decided that I wanted to run for county judge, for county executive of this enormous county and had no idea how to go about it, you guys presented me with a playbook. And when I started talking to the powers that be and the establishment was telling me to wait my turn or to run for something smaller, you guys told me it was my turn and helped me get there. And when it came time to raise funds and I didn't have a war chest or a Rolodex full of rich friends, you guys taught me how to fundraise and helped me do it, and you were there. And you all recognize the promise of the new generation, of the new generations, the folks that are standing up right now to fight during this pandemic. A lot of young people are the ones on the front lines treating sick patients, are figuring out how to do telehealth and telework, producing face shields. They're the ones that are going to be rebuilding once this is over. Not just millennials, Generation Z, all of these folks who in many ways inherited some of the challenges we face, but who are ready to stand up and fight for them. And of course, for our part, you know, I came in, I guess, right before I turned 28. And a lot of folks said, you know, she doesn't have 30 years experience in government. She can't do this job of managing the budget for the third largest county in the country. And what we learned is that while I didn't have 30 years of experience as a politician, that meant that I wasn't, whenever someone said, you can't do this, my response was, why not? And I surrounded myself with a staff that asked that same questions, that didn't have that commitment, that blockage, that certain things simply can't happen. So we fought through major chemical fires, 2 massive floods, now this pandemic. We started with bail reform and have continued with massive criminal justice reform in this enormous county. On voting, when the state is not allowing mail-in ballots for folks during the pandemic, we've invested $12 million so voting can be safe and easy and as accessible and safe from a health standpoint as possible. Sending a mail-in ballot to every person over 65, who are the folks that can get it. At least we want to make sure they have it. And we're going to keep fighting. Look, it's a hard time for everyone, but if there's a silver lining to this crisis, it's that folks have learned the importance of local government. They're recognizing more than ever with what's happening now, with the racial tensions, these issues bubbling up to the surface. Folks are seeing the importance of these local elected officials. And I think so many people are recognizing what Run for Something and what the supporters of Run for Something have known since the beginning, which is that we don't have to change the minds of people in power. We can change the hands on those gavels. And that's what we're doing. And it's so exciting. So I'm beyond honored, beyond grateful for the support of Run for Something and to Secretary Castro's kind words. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Lina. Thank you, Secretary Castro. I am just so thrilled to see what you have done. You know, when Lina and I first met, she was still a candidate. She had come out to New York to be a part of an event with us. And listening to you talk about that experience of moving home because you wanted to make your home better, like, that is what this is all about. And you know, having to live with your parents, having to find a way to make your campaign go from something that many people told us was a long shot. And now we have seen how important it is that you ran, that you won. I am calling it here first. You're going to see governor or senator or member of Congress Lina Hidalgo one day, and I am going to be so excited to be smug about it when it happens. Thank you so much, Judge Hidalgo, for joining us tonight and for what you're doing to keep Harris County safe. With that, I am so excited. I feel like I've said that, I don't know, 1,000 times tonight, but it remains true, to transition into a quick break where Brad from Republic Restoratives is going to do another little presentation on how to refresh your drink if you tonight are drinking cocktails.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Thank you so much to Judge Hidalgo and to Secretary Castro and to Secretary Clinton and for all of the amazing, inspiring speakers. As you're heading into a quick break, we're gonna do a quick cheers with our Rodham Rye. A portion of the proceeds from every bottle of this that were sold before it sold out went to Emily's List to elect more women to office. And we are just so inspired by the stories of people like Judge Hidalgo. So cheers to everything that you all are doing. Thank you, Run for Something, for your work. And just a quick note before we turn it over to Brad, who's going to show folks who are just joining how to make the drink that we made at the beginning, or for other folks to refresh their drink. we talked a little bit at the beginning about how we are the first women-owned and crowd-funded distillery in the country. Our owner, Pia, was actually Gabby Gifford's chief of staff. She was the youngest chief over in the House of Representatives at the time when Congresswoman Giffords was very tragically shot at an event. Continues to be involved with her. Many of us are involved in local politics here. So we're just very inspired by the work that you all are doing. Thank you so much. And with that, Brad is going to show you how to make another drink, or same drink, using our Civic vodka. It's called Civic, and the motto is "It's our duty," because we feel very compelled that we all need to be involved, like things like voting, things like campaigning, things like putting awesome candidates like what you are doing into office. So thank you so much for everything that you do.
Thanks, Anna. All right, guys, welcome back. We're gonna do the tomato and tonic. First off, we'll start out with our lemon juice. 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. We're gonna do a 1/2 ounce of our simple syrup here. Couple fresh cherry tomatoes, just right into there. Couple pieces of basil. And like Anna mentioned, we're gonna finish out with some delicious Civic vodka here. 2 ounces of that. Next up, we're gonna muddle. So grab your muddling tool, wooden spoon, whatever you have at home. Give it a gentle muddle there. Just want to burst those tomatoes. Muddle that basil just a little bit. All right. You grab your glass. Got a little bit of celery salt on the rim there. Add some ice to it. There we go. And we're going to shake our cocktail. About 15 to 20 seconds. Everything out of there. All right, we're going to strain it out. Top the ice in our glass. Everything out of there. Perfect. And lastly, we'll top it off with a little bit of tonic water. A little spritzy, refreshing note here. And some fresh basil on top there. So that's the T&T, tomato and tonic, kind of like a nice, summery, refreshing, lighter variation of a classic Bloody Mary. And it's delicious. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Oh, that looked amazing. I will confess, I'm not a big drinker, but I've got my LaCroix, and listening to you make the like tomato, it makes me really wish we'd had vodka in my house. It sounds so good. Oh, I'm sorry, you're muted. Go ahead though.
Was going to say it's a great one to do without alcohol if there are folks who don't drink very much.
Totally.
It's a super refreshing mocktail as well. So
You could totally put your LaCroix on top instead of tonic too.
Perfect. It sounds so good. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. Again, tip your bartender. Brad's Venmo is in the chat, so please do. We're going to take one quick sort of 90-second or so music break to sort of regather ourselves. So I'm going to throw it to DJ Tyler, our incredible social media hero and digital communications manager, to get us amped, and then we'll be back with more awards. Tyler, take it away. I am so pumped, new word this evening, for our next award presentation. Before we keep going, I want to say thank you again to Republic Restoratives. If you're able to tip our bartender Brad tonight, his Venmo is in the chat. Our next award winner, I have the pleasure of presenting to his award this evening. Tay Anderson is iconic. Tay Anderson, who is a current member of the Denver School Board and one of Colorado's youngest ever elected officials. We've been working with Tay since his first campaign more than 3.5 years ago. He ran for school board while he was still in high school before he even graduated, came up short, did not let that discourage him. Tay ran again in 2019, won an at-large seat, winning more than 60,000 votes across Colorado City, and since then has been making the best kind of trouble possible. We have been thrilled to watch as Tay has become a leader in Colorado, both as an activist and as an elected official. He has been on the front lines of the protests in Denver for the last 2 months, making sure that Black and Brown voices are being heard, making sure that his community, young people of color, young Black and Indigenous activists, are being seen and represented as part of this movement. He has been leading the charge and helped pass the resolution to get the police officers out of Denver schools. He is a firecracker in the best way, and we are so excited tonight to grant him this award for really being a champion of change. So Tay, take it away, knock people's socks off. I am so excited to have you here tonight.
Thank you for having me. It is an honor to accept this award. And first, let me just say that Black Lives Matter. And the reason why I say that is because we've seen that people have taken the streets after the death of Elijah McClain, after the death of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and so many others. And now we are seeing policymakers actually making change. And that is why I was proud to lead the charge with our vice president on our Denver school board to officially remove law enforcement officers from Denver schools and to add mental health supports in each of our schools. It's time that we have a system that no longer tells young people to wait your turn, but that gives them the olive branch to saying, join us. And I know firsthand what it means to sit down and to have somebody tell you, you are not able to win a citywide seat at the age of 21 years old in the city and county of Denver for an at-large seat on the Denver school board. And I said, watch me. We took this campaign by storm with Run for Something's help. We won the endorsements of over all of our unions here in Colorado. And on election day, where people said, there's no way he's going to pull it out, we won a three-way race with over 51% of the vote, with 67,213 votes, winning 82% of Denver precincts, because we showed Denver that, yes, you can understand what it means to be that Black child that grows up in this school system that can actually go and change it. And since then, in my first 200 days in office, we have accomplished every campaign promise. We now have free menstrual hygiene products to students who menstruate. We now are a gun-safe school district. We now have all gender restrooms for our LGBTQIA+ community. We now have eliminated the role of SROs in schools, and the list continues to get longer because we elected young people to go make the change for other young people. And so it's an honor to consistently represent my city. It's an honor to be Colorado's youngest African-American elected official. And I understand that people may not like me. That's okay, because I am doing the work for all of our young people across the country. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter who you love or how you identify or what the color of your skin is. Run for office, get involved, because it is time for us to make sure we have a seat at the table, because if they won't give us a seat at the table, like Shirley Chisholm said, we're going to bring a folding chair to the table. And I'm going to take it even a step further. We're going to destroy the table, and we're going to build a new one that actually seats young people, that has inclusive seats for all, because I can't wait to see the day where more young people are running for office. I don't want my seat to ever turn over to another 60-year-old politician who has spent their life in politics. I want another young person to run for this seat, because we are the change we wish to see. I'm so excited to be a part of Run for Something, so excited to see us win big in 2020. And yes, local elections matter. So thank you all. And I'm so honored to be here with you guys tonight.
Thank you so much, Tay. Tay, you are one of of all of our candidates, and I say this about all of our candidates, but I really do mean this. I am so excited to see not just what you're doing now, but where you are going in the future, because you are a rising star in Colorado. And every person who's watching tonight, every person who's been a part of your campaign knows that they are with you for the long haul. And we are with you for the long haul as the Run for Something team, wherever you go. So thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for keeping up the incredible work in Denver. We are so lucky to consider ourselves part of the Tay Anderson team.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Tay. Thank you again, Republic Restoratives and DJ Tyler. I don't know about you, but I feel amped. I feel psyched. Getting to hear from someone who's on the front lines of this work, getting to hear from Judge Hidalgo, from Representative Titone, from School Board Director Anderson about the work they are doing to really make people's lives better. You know, I mentioned at the top of the call how I wake up every day angry at Congress. That's in no small part because they make promises it's really hard for them to deliver. But Director Anderson, Tay just listed out all of the promises that he made in his campaign and that he kept. And if you don't think that made their lives, the lives of Denver students better, you are missing out. It is really where the action is. It is where the meaningful progress is. I wanted to take one small moment tonight to ensure that any person who's watching this, and if you are the kind of person who is watching this on a Thursday evening in July, you are the kind of person who should run for office. Our team will drop the links to where you can sign up. You can enter your address and find out what offices are available to you. We will help you. I want you to know that we will help you. We will give you training and support. We'll connect you to other organizations who can give you training and support. If we're legally able to, we'll try and give you some money. We will make sure that you get the attention and the press and the activism and the volunteers that you deserve. If you are thinking about running for city council and you're still in college, or maybe you're in high school, you're thinking about running for library board, you're thinking about running for American River Flood Control District Trustee Board Seat 6, you're thinking about running for coroner. For us, there is no office too small. There is no such thing as an office that is unimportant. And there's especially no such thing as running in a race that is too hard. You know, Judge Hidalgo said this earlier, how most people wrote her off. Most people said she shouldn't run because there's no way she can win. We come at it from a different perspective. You should absolutely run because we have no idea who can win, but really good candidates who knock doors, or whatever the pandemic version of knocking doors looks like, who make calls, who build authentic, genuine relationships with voters, who advocate for a positive vision for their community, who are willing to do the work and are willing to listen just as much as they talk, if not 10 times more so. They can win in the most long shot of races because people want to be inspired. Voters want someone to show up for, to vote for. They want someone who hears them and sees them and respects them. And you, if you're watching this, could be that someone. Tay and Lina and Anna and Brianna and Dotie, they are both nothing special and they're incredibly special. But I want you to take it all away. You know, Ilana said this at the top of the show tonight. They are just like us. They could be our friends. They could be our favorite artists, our favorite leaders. They could be people we see at the gym or at the grocery store when we went to the gym. These are the people who are really nothing special and everything special at the exact same time, just like us. So I hope if you're watching this tonight and you're thinking about running for office, sign up. It is not a commitment. It's just raising your hand to say you're thinking about it, and we will help you figure out the next steps. With that, I am so excited to introduce our next presenter for the 2 more awards this evening. One of my favorite Virginians, a fellow Virginian, Delegate Jennifer Carroll Foy was a Run for Something candidate in 2017 when she first ran to flip a seat in the Virginia House of Delegates. She won her primary by 14 votes while giving birth or being pregnant with twins who are so cute, and I can't believe how big they are now. Delegate Carroll Foy then flipped a seat in the Virginia House, being one of 15 flips that cycle, which came just a hair, one tiebreaker away from flipping the Virginia House entirely. Delegate Carroll Foy then went on to help pass Medicaid expansion, ensuring that hundreds and thousands of Virginians could have the health care they need especially important now. She went on to lead the charge to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment in the Virginia House of Delegates, making Virginia the last and final state needed to ratify the amendment to the Constitution that declares women are equal. Delegate Carroll Foy is now running for governor of Virginia. I will admit I am smug about this one too, because I've been saying this for years. She is a hero. I am so excited to have Jennifer here tonight to present our two next awards. Delegate, take it away.
Hi everyone. My name is Delegate Jennifer Carroll Foy, and thank you for that amazing introduction. And it is an honor that I be with you all today. This is my third Run for Something award gala, and I am so excited to be here with you, at least virtually. So let me tell you why Run for Something is so important, and why supporting Run for Something candidates is so important. Because we are the future of the Democratic Party and the future of this country. And recently I announced I'm running for governor of Virginia, but we all are change agents, and that's where it starts. And in this moment in time, with white supremacy on the rise, with climate change threatening our existence, with poverty and income inequality at record levels, Americans are demanding a new kind of public servant, and the old guard just won't do. Because we, like so many Run for Something candidates, view public service differently than the people who came before us. Do you know why? Because for us, the work we do is very personal. So as a working mom with 2 jobs and a mother of 2 3-year-olds, my husband and I pay a second mortgage every month called childcare, while straddled with student loan debt. So it's about the people closest to the pain being the people in power. So we can actually pass policies that make sense, that's going to move all of us forward. And so I know that it can be hard. And I've been there for the conversations and the dog whistles. So I heard the conversations when Danica Roan decided to run for delegate, my sister here in Virginia. And people thought never could a transgender woman ever win in the old Confederacy, that it would just never happen, especially running against a man who had called himself the biggest bigot and homophobe in the General Assembly. But let me tell you, she strapped up her Mary Janes and she went to work. And she actually walked holes into the bottom soles of her shoes. And just ask her, she'll definitely show them to you. And I was there when Delegate Elizabeth Guzman decided to run for office. And people said, you would never win because your accent is too thick and no one can understand you. Because as an immigrant and as one of the first Latinas ever elected to the General Assembly, people thought that she couldn't do it. They underestimated her, and then there was the electability question, our favorite question that's always asked. And so her response was a smile, and that, yes, people will vote for me. I just need you to cast that ballot. Because unfortunately, when you have real everyday people working 2 jobs and coming from the community, we are the exception and not the rule. But Run for Something is going to change that, because they support and invest in candidates when no one else will, and gives us the tools that we need to fight and persevere and persist, and most importantly, to win. We are smart, we are determined, we are competent, and we are qualified. And now it's time for us to get to work. And because of organizations like Run for Something in Virginia, we have expanded Medicaid to over 400,000 Virginians. We became the first Southern state to have LGBTQ protections in employment and accommodations. The first Southern state to implement being in a place where we can have 100% zero carbon emissions. I mean, Virginia. So I am excited. And it is my honor to introduce one of those incredible leaders who is getting things done, and present her with the Getting It Done Award. The Honorable Dotie Joseph, Dotie Joseph, okay, is the state representative for District 108 in Florida's legislature. Representative Joseph was born in Haiti and raised in Miami, where she attended public schools, studied hard, and went on to graduate from Yale University, got a law degree from Georgetown, worked on international human rights issues in local Miami politics, and with the Haitian community. Representative Joseph is receiving this award because of her work to pass bills affecting the most vulnerable communities, including survivors of domestic violence and transient residents. Her bill added victims of domestic violence to the list of those eligible to receive benefits under the unemployment law and called for measures to make workplaces safer. Please give a warm welcome to Representative Joseph.
Woohoo! Well, thank you so much. Run for Something, our future governor, Carroll McCoy. So let me just get one thing right. So my name is Dotie Joseph in Creole, right? Haitian Creole. I was born in Haiti, raised in Miami. And for the Anglophones, the pre-approved alternative is Dotie Joseph, like Lottie Dottie, because I do like to party, right? But I sometimes cause trouble, as they know in the legislature, but I don't bother nobody. So with that being said, let me just thank you for this honor and privilege. So I'll tell you guys a little bit about me. You know, everything about me is I'm not supposed to be here. What do I mean by that? I was born in one of those SHIT hole countries, which I will never call it that, by this occupant of the White House, right? And I was born in the middle of a hurricane when we had no electricity and all of this stuff. My parents struggled and made it here. My father's a pastor, my mommy's a nurse. I was literally born into public service because all my life is about dealing with other people's stuff and helping fix and address them. Public schools, as you heard, Yale undergrad and Georgetown law, but part of that is because of my passion for civil rights and human rights. And a lot of times in my life, people will tell you things that you can't do. And I just smile and just say, don't believe me, just watch, right? Because I don't have time to listen to folks who are telling you what not to do. You just put your head down, focus, and get it done. I am a freshman legislature in a Republican-dominated legislature, and I'm a Democrat, right? A lot of times we don't get stuff passed, and Representative Eskamani will tell you it's a challenge. But you cannot let other people's limitations dictate what you are going to do. So I'll give you two examples of that. One of which is the bill that you just mentioned. It's a bill that allows victims of domestic violence to qualify for unemployment compensation if they have to leave their job because of a domestic violence situation. I was not the first person to bring something like that to the legislature. Both Republicans and Democrats have been trying for over 12 years to pass such a bill. What was different? Am I the secret sauce? No. But I do not know how to hustle and know how to get things done. I'm an attorney. One of the things that I do is I represent employees and employers. So I have both perspectives. So I know the concerns from the employer's standpoint. So I made sure that I addressed them proactively in the bill. I know the concerns from the employee's perspective and wanting to make sure that we protect our victims. So I addressed those in the bill. I brought in stakeholders, and that's something that you'll find with certain kinds of candidates that, as Ms. Carroll Foy said, are closer to the pain because we know what that pain looks like. We're able to fashion solutions that actually address the issues and make sure that we bring to the table the necessary stakeholders. I'm doing some of the same thing right now around the Black Lives Matter movement and bringing together over 40 organizations locally, from Black Lives Matter, Dream Defenders, and a whole host of others, along with law enforcement agencies, so we as a community can get some of the things done that people don't think that can be done. Because guess what? All you need is a little fire in your belly and a little determination. Bring in some folks who want to get it done with you, and you'll be amazed what you can accomplish. Another thing that I'll highlight that I was able to take care of this last session, even before the resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement in the wake of George Floyd's death, is there was a young man who was shot in the back by police and was left paralyzed for life, excessive force. He did everything right, went and filed his lawsuit, got a judgment, the jury found in his favor, and the police folks did not want to pay. So I was like, all right, what are we gonna do about this? Teamed up with a Republican colleague, and we filed what's called a claims bill to exceed the cap. To put this in context, in the history of Florida's legislature, we haven't had more than 15 of these. And we were able to get this passed in my first term. So that's one of the things, but my point is, People will try to tell you and put limitations on what you can and cannot do. And I'm just going to tell you, don't let them. If you have something that you want to accomplish for your community, you go out there and you just hustle. What you can do, you do. The stuff that's beyond your control, it's beyond your control, so you don't need to worry about it anyway. But if there's something that you can do, we all have a part to play, whether it's in the larger Black Lives Matter movement, the civil rights movement, making sure that everybody in your community votes in November so that we can remove ourselves from this crazy control of this, Russian Agent Orange who's occupying the White House. I'm telling you, we need everybody, all hands on deck. We got this. We need to just overwhelm it, because the Russian bots are coming. The Chinese are here trying to interfere, and we just need to do what we need to do, overwhelm the system. Because guess what? When we show up, the people win. When we believe that our vote doesn't matter, that's when other stuff happens. So I'm here to just tell you, I love you. Every single person who's watching this, hearing this right now, you have a purpose. You have some seeds of greatness that are planted inside of you. And don't let anybody dim your light. And if you just share that light, the whole world will be a better place. But if you hold that stuff in, guess what? We all will suffer. Can you imagine if Martin Luther King never said anything? If Malcolm X never said anything? What kind of world would we live in? Well, right now, we are living in our world, and you have your part to play. Some of them, it's going to be in the streets. Some of them, it's going to be in the courtroom. Some of us, it's going to be just talking to our friends and making sure we're telling you know what? That's some racist BS. We're not tolerating it. And you do your part. So thank you so much. We just out here trying to get it done. Thank you.
All right, I love her. I love you.
I love you too.
That is right. I live for all of that energy and everything. So I am here. All hands on deck. Let's do it. Let's get it done. Let's donate. Okay, so now.
Yes, donate. I didn't even say that. So all the ladies and all the gentlemen, and I use she, her pronouns, everybody who's on here, please, 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 if we're in an election, look us up, right? Just drop a little change in our campaign things and do what you need to do. You see what the fight we're dealing with, right? You see COVID-19. We are literally in the fight of our lives. We see what's going on with Portland. Like, yeah, for real, if we don't want these people to continue to do the foolishness that we're doing, we need to replace them. We need to replace them with us. And to do that, we need funds, we need support, we need volunteers. All right, I'm out for real.
Okay. All right, that is absolutely right. So it's so important that we support our candidates. It's so important we support amazing organizations like Run for Something, who pop up the candidates and give us the tools that we need to run and to win everywhere. So now, before I introduce the winner of the Outstanding Volunteer Award, I want to say a few words about just how important volunteers are. So really quickly, in 2017, I decided to run to be a response to Trump and the ineffective abilities of what was happening for a lot of our legislators in Richmond. And so I, of course, became pregnant on Valentine's Day, just several weeks after announcing I was running for delegate. And so I know people said to drop out, that I couldn't run, I couldn't win, that it wasn't going to happen. And at the end of the day, I was knocking doors, pregnant with not one, but two babies with morning sickness and swollen ankles. And at the end of the day, my opponent outraised me. My opponent had every major legislator's endorsement, so he could outraise me, but I never would be outworked. And so with the help of hundreds of volunteers, we were able to flip a seat from red to blue while I was running my campaign from my hospital bed upside down, about to give birth to twin boys. So when I say that volunteers, we cannot do it without you. You pouring your heart into electing us and supporting us, to making the phone calls, sending the postcards, to the donations, you make us, and you give us the ability to do the work. And so without you, we are nothing. And our next winner is Chelsea Mason. Amazing. Chelsea has been a volunteer with Run for Something since December 2017. She has trained hundreds of volunteers. She has used her background in communications to help candidates and volunteers. She has helped with speech writing and social media strategy and graphic design. I mean, you name it, she's done it. She is all in. She has coached candidates through our candidate outreach calls, and can always be counted on to help during in-person events when Run for Something is in Los Angeles. And it is my absolute pleasure and honor to introduce you all to this dynamic, phenomenal person, our greatest volunteer, Chelsea Mason.
Thank you so much. That was such a generous introduction, Delegate Carroll Foy. You really do exemplify the core goal of Run for Something, and I'm so honored to have had that introduction from you. When I first joined Run for Something as a volunteer in 2017, it was because I had to do something. Like many of you, I was feeling pretty upset about things and looking for an opportunity to do my part, even though I'd never been involved in politics other than being a committed voter. I was immediately attracted to Run for Something's mission because we need our elected officials in this country to better reflect this country. And electing younger, more diverse candidates does exactly that. As you're seeing tonight, Run for Something is doing incredible work helping candidates get elected to office. But it's also important to recognize this organization's role in empowering its volunteers. After a training and an invitation to our online community, Run for Something says, go. Call these candidates who want to run and help us help them. These conversations I had with prospective candidates across the country taught me more about the electoral process and what candidates needed to succeed. This gave me the confidence to say yes to more interesting volunteer opportunities, to recognize that I did have the skills that candidates needed, even if I hadn't worked in politics before. While I had graphic design skills, I had never made a prospectus. I had run social media ad campaigns, but never for a political campaign. But as I began to offer my help, I found that while political campaigns can seem mysterious, at the core of it, it's about doing the hard work. Commitment to a cause is just as important as experience. And everything I learned working on these down ballot races even gave me the foundation to consult on a congressional primary earlier this year. So Run for Something isn't just building a bench of candidates, it's also building a bench of experienced volunteers who can take on what they've learned from one race and apply it to another. So you've already heard from some phenomenal people encouraging you to run for office tonight, and I wholeheartedly echo them. But I will also add that if you've been on the fence about volunteering, or if you've been apprehensive about getting more involved, please know you have something to offer. Everyone has skills that can contribute to a campaign. We're all here because we want to make our communities and our country a better place. And I promise you that you'll feel so much better about the direction we're going in if you are helping to shape it. So in closing, I want to thank Amanda, Ross, and the entire Run for Something team for this beautiful award and for creating a truly empowering organization for candidates and volunteers alike. I particularly want to thank Leslie Hauser, Run for Something's Director of Community, who started as a volunteer herself, for being an exceptional volunteer manager and a generally awesome person. And finally, I just want to give a shout out to my amazing supportive husband who's over here, and to my mom, who I think is watching right now, because she always told me I could do anything I set my mind to. And right now, I've got my mindset on making our country a better place for everyone in it. And with Run for Something, there are thousands of others working alongside me. Thank you.
Chelsea, that was really so beautiful. We are so grateful for all of the time that you have put into the organization and with our candidates. Thank you to Representative Dotie Joseph and to Delegate Jennifer Carroll Foy. It is just, like, this is why we do the work. This is why we get out of bed in the morning. This is why we go from bed to couch to kitchen counter to do the work. It is so meaningful to be a part of your all's journey and to help you change the world. So truly, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Our final presenter for tonight's awards is one of the president and co-founder of Supermajority, former president of Planned Parenthood, an all-around hero for women and those fighting for reproductive choice. I am so thrilled to welcome Cecile Richards this evening to present our final award. Couldn't imagine anyone better to hand off tonight's last thing. Take it away, Cecile.
Thanks so much. And sorry, I think I'm on. Thank you to Amanda and to Ross and the whole Run for Something team. Thanks to Chelsea's mom. Let's give it up for the moms that that are responsible for so many amazing folks we're hearing from tonight. I am really excited to get to kind of close us out tonight to present the virtual Vanguard Award to none other than Florida House Representative Anna Eskamani. And there's so many great things to say about Anna, but really importantly tonight in this moment is what she has done throughout this pandemic. Her leadership and dedication to her constituents has been inspiring to all of us. I first got to meet Anna years ago when we were both working for Planned Parenthood, and she and her twin sister Ida, who I hope you all also get to meet at some point, really caught my eye as two of the most incredible women organizers I had ever met. And so then it was a real thrill to get to support Anna in her campaign and to have her become, in 2018, the first Iranian American ever elected to the Florida legislature. Anna and Ida are the daughters of Iranian immigrants. Anna's an Orlando native, and really importantly tonight, she is a lifelong community builder. She is an unapologetic activist and progressive. From labor rights to LGBTQ rights to reproductive rights to racial justice, Anna is a leader. And during the pandemic, she's really demonstrated what I think we are missing right now, which is that the constructive role that government can and must play in the lives of people in this country, whether it's been getting Floridians unemployment benefits, preventing evictions, helping small businesses stay afloat, as well as, of course, advocating for policies that keep people healthy and safe, which has been a huge issue in the state of Florida. Her office provides bilingual updates on COVID for her district, and she hosts office hours each week for her constituents. And her reelection campaign, to me, is like the model of how to run a campaign during a pandemic, from virtual office openings, house parties, fundraisers, and of course, I think the skill that really attracted me in the first place, and that is political trainings, teaching people how to do this work. There's no end to challenges right now for folks in Florida, as we know, and every single bit of progress that we win in that state, you have to fight for, and you have to fight to protect it. And that's what Anna does, including, of course, the really important victory of the Amendment 4 to restore voting rights to formerly incarcerated people. The Florida legislature and the governor continue to undermine this important victory and the will of the people, but Anna just keeps on fighting. So I'll close with this. At Supermajority, which is a national community we launched last year to work for gender equity, one of our most important goals is to have a government that looks like us. And every single day, through her leadership and her representation, Anna inspires people across Florida and across the country, showing what government truly can be when it is by the people, for the people. So congratulations tonight to my good friend, Anna Eskamani, for this well-deserved recognition and for all of the things that are ahead.
Thank you so much, Cecile. What a sweet and kind and generous introduction. We are among legends tonight. And so thank you, Cecile, for everything you do and for presenting this very amazing award. And so I love you so much. Thank you. And hello to Run for Something. I want to give my gratitude to the Run for Something team and to all the other awardees, especially Representative Dotie Joseph, my Florida colleague and a boss babe in the Florida legislature who is getting things done every single day. I want to give my gratitude to all the Run for Something donors and volunteers who help to share our stories to a larger platform. Run for Something was one of the first organizations to endorse me when I made the decision to run for office in 2017 for the 2018 election cycle. And as Cecile mentioned, I worked at Planned Parenthood for about 7 years. I was a Planned Parenthood patient before that. I grew up as a daughter of immigrants. We did not have a lot of money, but we had a whole lot of love. And I found myself at a Planned Parenthood Health Center when I was 18 years old looking for answers because of my absence-only education at my public school. And that's where I had the opportunity to work alongside incredible people from across the country, including Cecile, in building a state and country that prioritizes reproductive health, rights, and justice, and one that truly allows folks to make their own decisions when to become parents, when not to become parents, and of course, to make those decisions without judgment and with nothing but love and support. I was introduced to Run for Something because I was a 27-year-old watching the world around me and realizing that if I didn't step up, then we would get the same status quo over and over and over again. And I say that not just about the White House and what has been the evolution of many of our conservative political organizations, but even just as Democrats, to really restore faith in what it means to be a Democrat and to redefine what public service is. We're doing that every single day. And right now, during this pandemic, we are navigating 3 major crises all at once. We have a healthcare crisis, and I'll tell you, as coming from Florida, we are a state that has never prioritized access to healthcare. We never expanded Medicaid. We're one of the lowest ranked states when it comes to mental health. We attack reproductive health. And even right now, Kid Care, one of the state's programs for children who are of constitutional disadvantage to have access to healthcare, one of our Kid Care programs has premiums that are going up in the middle of a pandemic. This healthcare crisis shines a light on racial disparities. We already know that not every Black mama has justice in her decision to become a parent, to give birth. But we also know that COVID-19 testing is not readily available to every person, and the death rates are much higher for our Black and brown people compared to others. And then we have this economic crisis, and the economic crisis is also grounded in systematic problems. We have a broken unemployment system in Florida. As I accept this award tonight, my inbox continues to grow with Floridians trying to access unemployment benefits, facing struggles along the way, and doing everything right, but being met with a government that could care less about them and their needs. This is coupled with the small businesses that are struggling to keep open. Here in Florida, theme parks are open, and yet small businesses like bars and breweries are closed, and it doesn't make sense. And so many of our small businesses who want to do what's right, who want to help stop the spread, are given no relief to do so. And actually, this year in April, our governor only allocated $50 million of state money to small businesses. Only 1,000 were awarded out of 38,000 who applied. And at the same time, he gave $500 million away to the state's largest corporations, many who we don't even know who they are because that information is not available to the public. So the economic crisis has been worsened by this pandemic, but Florida has always had an economic crisis. We have minimum wage jobs where no one can save money to pay their bills on time, families who live in hotels and motels instead of a home, and a lack of affordable housing for everyone. And then finally, we have the crisis that many have already lifted up, and that is one around racial injustice. And I want to be clear in saying that Black Lives Matter, and it's critically important as accomplices to this work that we amplify voices of Black people and ensure that the systematic change being demanded by activists in the streets are the ones that we're able to deliver. And I have been proud to be an accomplice on this work in the legislature for years, filing bills that would repeal mandatory minimums, working to end the school to prison pipeline alongside members of the Black Caucus, and doing my part to stand up against white supremacy in filing resolutions and holding people like our president accountable to their words and to their actions. And I'm very, very proud to say that this week we saw the No Ban Act pass in the U.S. House of Representatives. That is the Muslim travel ban that has banned travel between our country and those who identify predominantly as Muslim American. And Vice President Joe Biden has said that on his first day in office, this will be one of the executive orders that he repeals immediately. And that is something that should inspire all of us, no matter where we are on the political spectrum, to have a president that cares about diversity and doesn't just talk about it, but actually take action to do something about it. With that said, leadership rises in moments of uncertainty, and these challenges are both complex and deep in our systems. But we can solve them. We can reimagine new systems and remind ourselves that power is not a scarce resource. It is in abundance, and power is built together. There's plenty of it to go around. My success is not tied to your failure. The future of our country is right here on this Zoom awards show. The next generation of wealth and innovation will be crafted by young people across this country. And we need state legislatures that give resources, not restrictions, one that focuses on prosperity and not politics. We need people who have not been bought and sold by the country's largest corporations before they even step foot in their state capitals. Voters are crying out for a generation of lawmakers who are simply not for sale. And Run for Something is creating that generation of elected officials, and I am proud to be a part of it because I've had enough. I've had enough of watching the principles for which our parents sacrificed abandoned for the sake of retweets. I've seen millions of Floridians fight for their unemployment benefits only to be met with a governor who blames them for a system that was never designed to work. Of having unanswered cries of small businesses who need immediate relief while big businesses continue to get whatever they want versus us prioritizing what people need. And of course, if you are just like me, and if you've had enough of the direction our country has been going, our states have been going, then it's time that we do something. And running for office is one of the most impactful ways to create meaningful change. But if running for office is not for you, then donate to a campaign, volunteer for a candidate you care about. There are so many ways to get involved right now in a virtual world. As Cecile mentioned, we have converted our entire campaign to be COVID-19 safe. And so folks can join us from around the country. I know for all the elected officials who are here today and the candidates who are watching, know that you're not alone, that we're in this together. And 2020 is going to be an important year for all of us, but the work that we do is long lasting. You know, we don't just run for one election. We run for systematic change to build a country that is for the people, by the people, one that looks like us, one that reflects our values, and one that never leaves anyone behind. And so again, thank you so much to Run for Something for this opportunity, for this honor. Thank you to Cecile Richards, to Secretary Clinton, and to all my fellow awardees for inspiring me to be the best civic leader and public servant that I can be.
Y'all, repeat it after me. Governor Anna Eskamani. Like, it is just such a pleasure to get to listen to these incredible men and women speak and tell their stories and explain how what they are doing is making people's lives better. And all of it is possible because of you. Whether you are a first-time supporter of Run for Something or a longtime volunteer like Chelsea or something else in between, none of this would be possible. Their campaigns and our very existence wouldn't be present without you. I want to take, before we close out, one more chance to say thank you to our sponsors this evening: Act Blue, Ask Me, Authentic Campaigns, Fireside Campaigns, Claire and Stephen Crouppen, Planned Parenthood Action Fund, Precision Strategies, and Yelp. If you would like to join them as one of our amazing donors, runforsomething.net/build is the place to go. If you can't give yourself today, or even if you can, post it on social. Tweet it, share it on Facebook, go on Instagram, ask your friends to match your donation, whether it's $5 or $500. Whatever you can do means so much to our organization, to our team, to our candidates, to our volunteers, to the entire Run for Something community. I want to say thank you and congratulations again to all of our award winners tonight. Thank you to our presenters for taking the time out of their very busy schedules. And thank you to you, for everyone who joined us from home and is watching from home. I hope you're home. I feel better, which is a hard thing to say in a pandemic time, but I feel better. I feel good. I feel hopeful. I feel optimistic, and that's because of all of you. So thank you for, at least personally, giving me a chance to feel that way. I hope you feel the same way too. We're going to wrap this up, but don't hesitate to reach out with any questions, concerns, hopes, dreams, fears. If you're thinking about running, please do. If you're able to give, please contribute. And have a good and safe and healthy evening. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming tonight.